Slow wind howling, thunder rumbling softly, eerie ambience. The night was silent, hauntingly silent. Over the cursed valley, the clouds slowly parted, revealing a blood-red moon that bled its light across the ancient castle walls. Inside Castle Dracula, the air was thick with darkness and whispers of the past. Each candle flickered, as if afraid to burn too bright. A lonely figure walked down the cold corridor. It was Amelia, her hands trembling, holding a small silver lantern. Its flame struggled against the wind, casting faint shadows on the stone floor. She whispered softly to herself. The legends were true, the blood moon has returned. Amelia stopped before an ancient wooden table. Upon it lay a forbidden book, the Book of Eternal Night. Its cover was black as death, sealed with crimson wax, and marked by a single symbol, the mark of Dracula. As she opened the book, red light spilled across the room. The pages pulsed, like a living heart. From the depths of the castle tower, a sound rose. A slow, chilling breath. Dracula opened his eyes. For the first time in 100 years, they burned bright red, glowing with hunger and power. In a deep, cold voice he whispered. "The moon calls, and I awaken once more." A gust of wind rushed through the hall, snuffing out Amelia's lantern. Darkness swallowed everything. And in that silence, only the beating of her heart could be heard. The curse had awakened again. Thunder strikes. Bats screech. The castle trembles in the distance. The castle trembled as a cold wave of energy spread through the ancient halls. Dracula took his first breath in a century. Dust fell from the ceiling, and the air grew heavy with the scent of death and forgotten time. In the darkness above, Dracula's red eyes glowed like fire. He rose slowly from his stone coffin, the sound of cracking stone echoing through the chamber. The curse had awakened, and the blood moon had chosen its master once again. Amelia clutched the lantern close to her chest, her voice trembling. "He's alive. The darkness has returned." She turned to run, but the door slammed shut behind her with an unseen force. The flame in her lantern flickered weakly in the cold. A deep voice filled the hall. "Do not fear the dark, child, for it remembers you." Amelia froze, her breath caught in her throat. She turned slowly and saw him, Dracula. Pale, tall, and silent. His cloak moved like living shadow, his eyes glowing red with hunger and power. The centuries had not aged him. His presence was colder than the grave, yet regal like an ancient king. Dracula stepped closer. "The moon rises, the blood returns, and so does my reign." Each footstep echoed like a heartbeat. The wind howled. Candles burst into flame. The shadows shifted, alive and watching. Amelia could not move. She understood now, this was no legend, no dream. This was eternity itself, standing before her. Thunder crashed outside. Bats filled the air. The blood moon glowed brighter, and darkness claimed the night once more. The night outside the castle was alive with fear. Clouds swirled around the blood-red moon as cold mist rolled down into the valley. The old village slept under its cursed glow, unaware that something ancient had awakened. Dracula stepped out of the castle gates for the first time in a century. His cloak spread behind him like black fire. The wind carried whispers of the dead, and every shadow bowed before his presence. He raised his face toward the crimson sky, feeling the power of the moon flow into his veins. The curse was no longer a burden, it was strength, reborn through blood and time. In the distance, a wolf howled. Its cry echoed through the forest, and Dracula's lips curved into a faint, cold smile. He began to walk through the mist-covered woods, his footsteps silent, his eyes glowing with hunger. Amelia followed from afar, trembling but determined. She hid behind the trees, watching as Dracula's figure moved toward the village. The air around her grew colder with each step he took. In the village square, the night guards stood by a dying fire. One of them looked up, sensing movement. The flames flickered, and the air went still. A tall dark figure appeared behind him, silent as death. Before the man could scream, Dracula's eyes met his. The world froze. The guard's heart stopped in a single beat. Dracula bent close, whispering words only the dead could hear. Moments later, the fire went out completely. Only the blood moon remained, shining down upon the silent village, and the shadows that moved within it. The village was silent. The last echo of the guard's scream had vanished into the fog. Only the blood-red moon watched from above, painting everything in shades of crimson and ash. Dracula moved through the empty streets like a shadow come alive. The doors of the houses were shut tight, yet behind them, hearts trembled in fear. His footsteps made no sound. His eyes glowed brighter with every passing second. Amelia followed, clutching the sacred cross she had taken from the castle altar. Her breath came fast and shallow, her mind torn between terror and purpose. She had read the prophecy, only one with a pure heart could face the Lord of Shadows beneath the blood moon. Dracula stopped in front of the old village chapel. Its doors creaked open as if inviting him inside. The air grew colder. Candles inside the chapel flickered with unnatural light. Amelia stepped in after him, her lantern shaking in her hand. The silence was heavy, broken only by the sound of her heartbeat. Dracula stood before the altar, his back to her. His voice was calm, almost sorrowful. "You should not have come here, child. The darkness spares no one." Amelia took a step forward, her voice trembling. "I didn't come to fight you. I came to end the curse." Dracula turned slowly. His eyes met hers, centuries of pain, loneliness, and power burning within them. For a moment, the monster looked almost human. He whispered, "The curse cannot end, it can only begin again." The candles blew out. The chapel fell into darkness. And the blood moon outside shone brighter than ever, as if feeding on their souls. The chapel shook as thunder roared above. Outside, the blood moon reached its brightest, flooding the world in crimson light. The ancient curse had awakened completely. Dracula stood before the altar, his shadow stretching across the walls like a living storm. His voice echoed through the empty chapel, deep and commanding. "The night is eternal. The living shall bow before the blood." Amelia raised the silver cross, her hands trembling but her eyes fierce with courage. The air sizzled as the sacred light clashed with Dracula's darkness. Sparks of red and white energy filled the room. He stepped closer, his fangs glinting in the pale light. "You think faith can save you?" he whispered. Amelia's voice broke but did not falter. "Not me, but it can save the world from you." She opened the book of eternal night and began to read the forbidden words, the same spell that once sealed Dracula 100 years ago. The pages glowed white-hot, blinding the room. Dracula roared, his true form revealed, wings of darkness unfurled behind him, his body radiating ancient power. The walls cracked, and the windows shattered as the blood moon's light poured in like fire. He lunged toward her, but Amelia held the cross high. The light from the cross met the power of the moon in a single, deafening blast. The explosion threw them both into the air. When the light faded, the chapel was silent once again. The blood moon began to dim, its red hue fading into pale silver. Amelia lay on the floor, weak but alive. Dracula was gone, his shadow burned into the stone behind the altar. The curse was broken, or so it seemed. As dawn approached, the last candle flickered. From the ashes near the altar, a drop of crimson blood glowed faintly, still alive, still waiting. The curse had not ended. It had only changed form. Thunder fades. Wind whispers through the broken chapel. Fade to silence.